The cases of students dropping out of school in the United States have been declining in the majority of the states. However, many students continue to drop out of school due to an array of issues. The majority of students dropping out of learning institutions are those from minority populations and low income families. The dropout epidemic is driven by various factors such as societal, behavioral, or family issues that emanate from all quarters of life interactions of the students. Many underperforming high schools accounted for the majority of dropouts in the United States. The minority communities and low-income families experience several challenges that directly affects the students' behavior in schools, leading to indices of dropouts. Learning and behavior theories are essential in explaining the effects of human behavior, especially tied to students dropping out of school. The documentary Frontline features students like Marco, Sparkle, Lawrence, and Marcus who are undergoing various life changes to acquire education. The impediments of the education for these students stem from an assortment of life hurdles from poverty to psychological issues, which are premised in causative factors ranging from family issues to exposures to specific triggers in everyday life. Lawrence struggles with anger issues originating from life situations, whereas Sparkle believes in herself but suffers from solitude since she is homeless with numerous responsibilities on her shoulder. Among the future students, Marco stands out to me. Marco experiences a myriad of social and mental impediments but continues to attend school. Marco comes from a low income family. The father was deported and the mother faces deportation. He has to work to fend for himself and his family besides attending school. The story of Marco exposes the significance of inner strength in dealing with numerous factors that may influence behavior change. Additionally, Marco is optimistic that he will graduate from high school. The story of Marco depicts the behavioral theory which stipulates that events or actions around an individual may have a detrimental consequence on one's life. Marco's father's deportation and the subsequent threat of deporting his mother, coupled with poverty, influenced his behavior in the schools immensely. The behavior therapists argue that cognitive actions derive from observable behaviors or experiences which impact learning or specific behaviors. Events surrounding Marco compelled him to consider dropping out of school. The lack of human capital in the family and poverty enormously influenced Marco's specific characteristics that drive him towards the urge to drop out of school. The psychological impact of various events around the individual can have an unconscious influence on an individual. Behavior theory postulates that a range of social actions or behaviors originate from events and unconsciously causes them. The behavior theory aims to explain human behavior through analysis of the an- antecedents and the consequences of various events in an individual's environment. According to Freudian, the notion of unconscious influence is an essential concept in the behavior theory. The theory states that reciprocal determinism is crucial in explaining the personality or functioning of humans originating from cognitive, environmental, and interactional factors. Behaviorist B.F. Skinner argued that the consequences affect learning through reinforcement and punishment. The behavioral approach, as established by John B. Watson, hypothesized that all behaviors such as results from experiences. The behavior theory explains why students act the way they do in the learning environment. The approach of highlights social and environmental factors that affect students' lives, impeding their need for education and graduating at various levels of their education. The behavior theory is critical in explaining the actions of students featured in this film and formulations of therapeutic support to reduce cases of school dropouts in Texas. Finally, the life situation the students featured in this film face may be key motivators for other students to work hard and impact change in society. The consequences of erratic behaviors connected to their behaviors, including dropping out of school and going to jail. Hence, these should serve as lessons for students to avoid committing crimes and instead concentrate on their studies and becoming responsible citizens.